Ladies and gentlemen, the world is full of challenges, obstacles, and competition. Every day we are told to aim high, to strive for greatness, to chase after dreams, and to make our mark. But here's the thing, making your mark isn't about chasing after something elusive or abstract. It's about becoming so good, so skilled, and so indispensable that the world can't help but take notice. The key to success is not in trying to fit into a mold, but in mastering the craft, relentlessly improving, and letting the results speak for themselves. When you think about success, think about the effort behind it. Think about the grit and grind it takes to become exceptional. You can't simply expect recognition because you want it, because you dream of it, or because someone tells you that you should have it. You have to earn it, and you earn it by being so good at what you do that no one can ignore you. That's the standard, not average. Not mediocre. You need to be so skilled, so exceptional, so unique that people are forced to see you. And not just see you, but respect you. Not just acknowledge your presence, but look at your work, your ability, your talent, and say, I can't ignore this. I want you to think for a moment about the people who have made a lasting impact. The ones whose names are synonymous with excellence. These people didn't get to where they are by doing the bare minimum. They didn't get there by taking shortcuts or trying to be everything to everyone. They didn't get there by following trends or riding waves. They got there by relentlessly focusing on getting better at what they do. And that's the first and most important lesson in this journey. Being good isn't enough. Being good won't get you to the top. To be someone who can't be ignored, you have to be great at your craft. And the road to greatness is paved with countless hours of practice, sacrifice, and failure. There is no shortcut to mastery. If you want to stand out, you have to stand apart from the crowd. To do that, you must invest time and effort into perfecting your skills. Whatever your craft may be, whether you are an artist, an athlete, a writer, or a business person, the key to success is deliberate practice, pushing your boundaries and continually striving to be the best. I hear a lot of people talk about talent. They say that some people are born with it, and that's why they're successful. But the truth is, talent is just a starting point. It's like a spark in the beginning, but it's the hard work, the discipline, and the commitment to improving that turns that spark into something substantial. Talent alone isn't enough to make you great. You can have all the natural ability in the world, but if you don't put in the work, it's just wasted potential. Talent doesn't carry you to the top. Your dedication, your determination, and your desire to be better are the forces that propel you there. Think about the best in any field, the best athletes, the best musicians, the best actors, the best entrepreneurs. They didn't reach the top because they were born into it or because they got lucky. They reached the top because they worked harder than anyone else. They were the ones who showed up when others quit. They were the ones who put in the extra hours, the ones who kept pushing when the road got tough, when the results weren't immediate, when it seemed like no one was watching. They put in the time, and they kept getting better. And over time, they reached a level where no one could ignore their ability, their commitment, and their results. If you're serious about being great, you have to be obsessed with improvement. You have to be willing to do the hard work that others won't do. You have to push through the frustration, the self-doubt, and the failures. Because it's not just about being good at something, it's about being so good that you become undeniable. When you're great, it doesn't matter who's watching or who's listening or who's paying attention. They will all come around. Because greatness attracts attention. Excellence demands respect. But this doesn't just apply to the big, dramatic achievements. It's not just about landing the big deal or making the breakthrough moment. It's about consistently being the best version of yourself, day in and day out. It's about showing up and doing the work, even when it's hard, even when it's not glamorous, even when it's inconvenient. The process of getting better is a journey, not a destination. Every day you improve, you get a little bit closer to the level where people will recognize you as being truly exceptional. And let's be clear, greatness isn't about perfection. It's not about being flawless. No one is flawless. Perfection is a myth, but what sets great people apart is their relentless pursuit of improvement. It's about doing what others won't, going where others can't, and persevering when the odds are against you. When you look at the greats in any field, they all have one thing in common: they embrace the struggle. They didn't run from it. They didn't try to avoid it. They understood that greatness is born in the fire of adversity. When things get tough, when the challenges seem insurmountable, that's when you need to dig deeper. That's when you need to find the strength to keep going, even when it feels like no one is watching. Because the world won't see your struggle right away. They won't see the sacrifices you're making or the effort you're putting in. But they will see the results. They will see the work, the excellence, and the consistency. And in time, they will have no choice but to recognize you for what you've become. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's a long, hard road filled with setbacks, mistakes, and disappointments. But if you keep your eyes on the prize, if you keep improving every single day, eventually you will reach the point where you can't be ignored. When that day comes, you will look back and realize that all of the sacrifices, all of the hard work, and all of the late nights were worth it. Because the reward is not just in the recognition, the fame, or the accolades. The real reward is knowing that you reached the highest level you could, that you gave it everything you had, and that you became so good that the world couldn't ignore you. At some point, people will start talking about you. Your name will be mentioned in conversations, your work will be discussed, and your impact will be felt. But it won't be because you forced it. It won't be because you were seeking attention. It will be because you were so damn good at what you did that people couldn't help but notice. And when that moment comes, you'll realize that the work you put in wasn't just for recognition, it was for mastery. It was about becoming the best version of yourself and letting your work speak for itself. The key to success is simple: be so good that they can't ignore you. And the way to do that is to focus on what really matters: getting better. Commit to the craft, embrace the struggle, put in the work, and trust the process. When you do that, the world will take notice. And when they do, you'll be ready because you've already done the work. You've already mastered the craft. And you won't need to ask for attention. And it's this very commitment to your craft that will eventually lead to excellence that cannot be ignored. At the core of mastering your craft is the understanding that improvement is a lifelong process. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of instant success or overnight recognition, but the reality is that greatness takes time. It takes time to build the necessary skills, to develop the mindset required to succeed, and to cultivate the discipline that will allow you to push through obstacles. If you want to be truly exceptional, you need to be willing to invest the time, energy, and focus necessary to achieve that level of excellence. This is where the concept of deliberate practice comes into play. Deliberate practice is not simply putting in hours, it's about putting in hours with a clear purpose and a focused intent to improve specific aspects of your craft. You don't get better by just going through the motions. You get better by breaking down your weaknesses, identifying the areas where you need to improve, and working on them systematically. This is where true mastery begins. The journey to mastery is filled with mistakes, and those mistakes are crucial for growth. It's through failure that we learn what doesn't work, and it's through those lessons that we find the path forward. Many people shy away from failure because they see it as a negative outcome, but in reality, failure is an essential part of success. Every failure is an opportunity to recalibrate, to reassess your approach, and to learn a new way of doing things. Without failure, there can be no real progress. Those who are afraid to fail are the ones who will never truly master their craft. One of the most important aspects of relentless mastery is consistency. It's easy to get motivated in the beginning, to put in a burst of effort and see some initial results. But the true test comes when the novelty wears off and the routine becomes challenging. This is when the real work begins. Success isn't about occasional brilliance, it's about showing up every day and putting in the effort, even when you don't feel like it, even when the results aren't immediately apparent, and even when the road seems long. Consistency is the muscle that enables you to keep going when everything else says stop. It's what keeps you going when motivation fades, when distractions arise, and when obstacles seem insurmountable. Mastery also requires an ability to embrace discomfort. Growth doesn't happen when you stay in your comfort zone. Mastery happens when you challenge yourself, when you step into the unknown, and when you stretch yourself beyond what you thought was possible. This discomfort is where real change happens. It's where you break through your limits, where you uncover hidden potential, and where you reach new heights. Without discomfort, there can be no progress. Another crucial aspect of mastering your craft is seeking out feedback. We all have blind spots, areas where we're not seeing things clearly or where we're failing to recognize our own weaknesses. Feedback, whether from mentors, peers, or even from your own reflection, is invaluable in helping you see where you need to improve. Feedback allows you to course correct, to refine your techniques, and to approach your craft from a different perspective. But it's important to understand that not all feedback is created equal. You need to learn to take constructive criticism and use it to fuel your growth. Feedback is only useful if you're willing to listen, to accept it without defensiveness, and to apply it in a meaningful way. Relentless mastery also requires a deep sense of passion and purpose. Without a clear sense of why you are doing what you're doing, it's easy to lose momentum and fall into complacency. Purpose drives commitment. It gives you the energy to keep pushing forward, even when the path is difficult and the results are slow to come. When you are passionate about what you do, the effort feels less like work and more like a calling. Passion allows you to stay engaged in the process of mastery, even when it feels tedious, and it helps you maintain focus when distractions threaten to pull you off course. In addition to passion, humility is another cornerstone of relentless mastery. No matter how far you've come or how skilled you become, there is always more to learn. The more you master, the more you realize how much you don't know. Humility keeps you grounded and open to growth. It keeps you from falling into the trap of complacency or arrogance. The greatest masters in any field are the ones who are always seeking to learn, who are always open to new ideas, and who never stop improving. Humility is the recognition that mastery is not an endpoint, but an ongoing journey. The best way to think about mastery is to view it as an ongoing process rather than a final destination. There is always room for improvement, always something new to learn, and always a way to refine your skills. Those who achieve true mastery don't stop once they've reached a certain level of proficiency. They keep going, always striving to be better, to innovate, and to break through new barriers. This continuous push for improvement is what keeps them ahead of the curve, constantly evolving and adapting in an ever-changing world. At the same time, it's important to recognize that mastery does not mean perfection. Perfection is an illusion, an unattainable goal. Even the most skilled individuals make mistakes, experience setbacks, and encounter failures. What separates the masters from everyone else is not the absence of mistakes, but the ability to learn from them, to bounce back stronger, and to continue on the path toward excellence. Mastery is about progress, not perfection. It's about getting better every day, even if that means making small improvements along the way. There is no substitute for hard work when it comes to mastery. It's the secret ingredient that turns potential into results. While others may look for shortcuts or quicker ways to succeed, those who are truly committed to mastering their craft know that there are no shortcuts. The work must be done, and it must be done with intention, focus, and a willingness to go the extra mile. This is what makes the difference between those who achieve success and those who fall short. The willingness to put in the work, to sacrifice, and to stay committed when things get tough is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. As you embark on the journey of mastering your craft, it's essential to stay patient. This is a long-term endeavor. There will be times when the progress feels slow, when you question whether the effort is worth it, and when you wonder if you'll ever get to the level you aspire to. But the key is to trust the process. Trust that the work you are putting in today is building a foundation for tomorrow's success. Trust that every hour you spend improving, every skill you hone, and every mistake you make is a step closer to mastery. Success is not a linear path, it's a winding road that requires persistence, resilience, and patience. When you focus on mastering your craft relentlessly, the results will follow. It may take years of effort, but with enough dedication and passion, you will find that the rewards are worth it. The recognition, the respect, and the impact you desire will come naturally. You won't need to seek them out, they will be a byproduct of your commitment to excellence. Mastery is not about seeking validation or external rewards, it's about pushing yourself to be the best you can be, for your own sake, for the sake of your craft, and for the sake of those who will benefit from your work. Excellence demands attention in ways that are both subtle and unmistakable. It is not a concept that can be ignored or overlooked for long. When you pursue excellence, you do so not simply to be good at something, but to stand out in a world that is often content with mediocrity. In any field, whether in the arts, business, sports, or any profession, true excellence speaks for itself. It requires a deep commitment, a relentless drive, and a mindset that insists on pushing beyond the average, the ordinary, and the expected. Excellence is not just about performing a task well, it's about making such an impact with your work that people take notice. It's about setting yourself apart by the quality of what you deliver, the precision of your work, and the consistency with which you show up. In the world we live in, attention is both a scarce resource and a coveted prize. People are bombarded with information, advertisements, and distractions on a daily basis. Amid this noise, excellence becomes a magnet. When you produce something extraordinary, people notice. You may not always get the recognition you deserve right away, but excellence cannot remain unnoticed forever. Whether it's through the uniqueness of your approach, the depth of your expertise, or the undeniable quality of your work, the impact of excellence eventually captures attention in ways that mediocrity simply cannot. The importance of excellence lies in the fact that it's the key to unlocking opportunities. In every industry, from tech to fashion, from entertainment to education, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people vying for attention. Most people will settle for being good enough because that's often seen as sufficient. But to truly set yourself apart, to go beyond the crowd and have people notice you, you need to be exceptional. It's this exceptionality that makes others stop and look. That makes them take a moment to appreciate your work, your dedication, and your craft. When you're exceptional, the doorways to new opportunities begin to open. People want to collaborate with you, to learn from you, to associate with you because your excellence is something they value. Excellence becomes an asset that draws others to you, and through that, it creates pathways that would otherwise remain closed. To achieve excellence and make it demand attention, you must be willing to invest time, energy, and resources into developing your skills and refining your craft. But even more than this, you must develop the mindset that drives excellence. This mindset is one of consistency, of dedication, and of a deep hunger to improve. Excellence is not achieved by a one-time effort or by fleeting bursts of enthusiasm. It is achieved by committing yourself to constant growth, by pushing your limits, and by consistently delivering work that surpasses expectations. This mindset doesn't accept mediocrity, nor does it allow you to rest on your laurels once you've achieved a certain level of success. Instead, excellence demands that you always push for more, that you always strive to raise the bar higher, even if it means making sacrifices and enduring challenges along the way. Part of the power of excellence is that it commands respect. When you consistently perform at the highest level, people can't help but acknowledge your ability and your commitment. Whether it's a colleague, a client, or an audience, excellence demands respect because it represents the highest standard of achievement. People gravitate toward excellence because it sets a benchmark for what is possible. It raises the stakes and challenges others to meet or exceed that level. This is why some individuals, despite their humble beginnings, manage to rise to the top. They refuse to settle for anything less than excellence, and as a result, they earn the respect of others, which in turn opens doors to greater opportunities. Excellence doesn't just demand attention from others, it demands it from yourself. To consistently produce at a high level, you must hold yourself to the highest standard. This means being willing to push yourself beyond your comfort zone, even when things get difficult. It requires a level of self-discipline that ensures you are always improving, always learning, and always striving to get better. The moment you let your standards slip, the moment you accept anything less than your best effort, you begin to diminish the excellence that has set you apart. Excellence isn't about performing at a high level only when it's easy or convenient. It's about continuing to show up and perform at that level, no matter the circumstances. When you do this, you not only draw attention to your work, but to your personal commitment to your craft. At the same time, excellence is a reflection of consistency. It's not enough to be excellent once in a while or to show brilliance in isolated moments. Excellence is about maintaining a high standard over time. It's about being able to reproduce that level of quality day in and day out, regardless of how many times you have to repeat the process. This kind of consistency and excellence forces others to notice because they can't help but see the reliability and quality you bring to every project, every task, and every interaction. In a world where so many people fall short of delivering on their promises, consistency and excellence sets you apart as someone who is dependable, someone whose work can be counted on to meet or exceed expectations every time. To demand attention through excellence, you must also be willing to take risks. Excellence is not about playing it safe, it's about stepping outside your comfort zone and doing what others might hesitate to do. This means trying new ideas, experimenting with innovative approaches, and sometimes even challenging the status quo. While many people fear failure or rejection, those who strive for excellence understand that failure is often part of the process. They embrace the risks, knowing that the pursuit of excellence involves overcoming obstacles and learning from missteps. It's through this willingness to take risks and push boundaries that you carve out a space for yourself as someone whose work stands apart from the ordinary. Another reason excellence demands attention is that it inspires others. When you perform at your highest level, when you consistently deliver outstanding results, you motivate those around you to elevate their own standards. Excellence becomes contagious, and when others see you achieve the extraordinary, it pushes them to push themselves further. This creates a culture of excellence, one where everyone involved is committed to bringing their best to the table. By focusing on your own excellence, you not only elevate your own work, but contribute to the excellence of the entire team or community. In turn, this collective commitment to excellence creates an environment where the pursuit of greatness becomes the norm, not the exception. Excellence is also about the details, the things that others may overlook or take for granted. While many people may deliver good work, it's the attention to detail that transforms the good into the exceptional. Whether it's perfecting your technique, refining your approach, or adding a personal touch to what you do, the details are what differentiate excellence from mediocrity. When you focus on getting every detail right, you are showing a level of care and commitment that others can't help but notice. These are the qualities that make your work stand out and demand attention, because it's not just the end product that matters, it's the thought, time, and effort you've put into getting there. But perhaps the most profound aspect of excellence is its ability to persist even when no one is watching. It is easy to strive for excellence when you're in the spotlight, when you know that others are paying attention. But true excellence is cultivated in the moments when no one is looking, when the work is difficult, when the challenges are overwhelming, and when the rewards seem far off. It is in these moments that excellence is truly tested. When you continue to pursue greatness in the face of adversity, when you show up and give your best, even when you are uncertain of the outcome, that is when you solidify your reputation as someone whose work demands attention. Excellence, when practiced consistently and with purpose, creates an aura around you that others cannot ignore. It elevates you above the noise of everyday life and positions you as someone who is dedicated to producing results that stand the test of time. As you continue to focus on the details, push your boundaries, and deliver work that exceeds expectations, you will begin to notice that people start to look to you for leadership, for guidance, and for inspiration. Excellence attracts attention not just because of the final result, but because it shows the world who you are and what you stand for. It tells people that you are someone who is committed to doing things the right way, someone whose work is worth noticing. And that attention will follow you, not as something you sought after, but as the inevitable byproduct of your commitment to excellence. Embracing the struggle and the process is an essential part of achieving anything meaningful in life. Whether you're pursuing a career, striving for personal growth, or working towards a specific goal, the journey will always be challenging. And it's in the struggle, the difficult, uncomfortable, and sometimes seemingly impossible moments that real progress is made. Too often, we hear people talk about success as if it were an easy, linear path, but in reality, the process is full of ups and downs, setbacks, and failures. To achieve greatness, we must learn to embrace these struggles, because it's through the struggle that we grow, develop, and ultimately succeed. The world often romanticizes success, making it appear as though it comes easily for those who have it. The glamorous stories of people who seem to have had everything fall into place are alluring, but they often obscure the intense struggles that those individuals faced behind the scenes. The truth is that no success story is without hardship, no achievement is without sacrifice, and no personal development happens without going through tough times. People who achieve great things often share one common trait: they have learned to embrace the struggle and the process. They understand that it is not the easy moments, but the challenging ones that shape us into who we are meant to become. The first step in embracing the struggle is to reframe how we view adversity. So often we see challenges and difficulties as obstacles that stand in our way, as roadblocks that prevent us from moving forward. But in reality, these struggles are not impediments, they are opportunities for growth. Without struggle, there is no progress. Every challenge is an invitation to improve, to learn, and to refine. When we learn to embrace the discomfort of struggle, we can see these moments as chances to develop new skills, overcome fears, and build resilience. Resilience is one of the most important qualities that you can develop throughout your journey. The process of achieving anything meaningful is rarely smooth. It's full of twists, turns, and obstacles that test your perseverance. The ability to bounce back from failure, to pick yourself up when things don't go according to plan, is critical. The people who succeed are not necessarily the ones who avoid failure, but the ones who keep going despite it. The struggle is where resilience is built, and it's only by enduring the process, by continuing to show up and give your best, that you develop the mental and emotional fortitude to overcome even the most difficult challenges. It's important to recognize that the struggle isn't always something that happens in big, dramatic moments. Sometimes the struggle is in the small, day-to-day efforts that accumulate over time. It's the moments when you don't feel like getting up and doing the work, when distractions are all around you, when your energy is low and your motivation seems fleeting. The real test is not just in how you handle the big crises, but in how you handle the everyday struggles that are part of any long-term pursuit. These small struggles are the building blocks of your success. The consistency with which you show up, even when it's hard, builds momentum and strengthens your character. One of the key aspects of embracing the struggle is understanding that it is not something to be avoided, but something to be welcomed. The process is long, often filled with detours and unexpected challenges. There will be times when you feel discouraged, when the weight of the effort seems too much, and when you question whether the struggle is even worth it. But it's in those moments that the real transformation happens. When you feel at your lowest, when you feel like quitting, that's when you are on the verge of growth. The discomfort is what pushes you past your limits and forces you to expand beyond what you thought was possible. If you can push through those moments, you emerge on the other side stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what comes next. Another important aspect of embracing the process is being patient. In a world that is obsessed with instant gratification, it can be difficult to embrace a long, drawn-out journey. We are accustomed to getting things quickly, whether it's fast food, fast internet, or fast entertainment, and we often expect the same from our personal goals. But real success doesn't come quickly, and meaningful change doesn't happen overnight. The process of becoming good at something, of building a career, of improving yourself takes time. It requires persistence, and more than that, it requires patience. Patience doesn't mean sitting idly by and waiting for success to come to you. It means understanding that progress takes time, and that slow, steady efforts will eventually compound into the results you want. The process of growth is often slow and gradual. There will be days when you don't see any visible progress, and those are the moments that will test your resolve. It's easy to become discouraged when the results don't show up immediately, but true mastery requires consistency over time. The key is to trust the process, even when it doesn't feel like things are moving forward. If you stay committed to doing the work, no matter how small the steps may seem, the results will come. It's about putting in the effort day in and day out and having faith that those efforts will eventually pay off. Additionally, embracing the process requires a willingness to let go of control. So much of our frustration with the journey comes from our need to control the outcome. We want to know exactly when we will succeed, how long it will take, and what the end result will look like. But the reality is that the path to success is often unpredictable. The process is messy and nonlinear. There will be setbacks, failures, and unexpected twists. Instead of trying to control every detail, the key is to learn how to navigate uncertainty and trust that, with perseverance and effort, you will reach your destination. Letting go of the need for complete control allows you to embrace the process fully and accept that the journey will unfold in its own time. As you embrace the struggle, you also learn the importance of maintaining a positive mindset. Your attitude toward the process can significantly influence how you experience it. If you view every obstacle as a burden, every challenge as an impenetrable wall, you will find it much harder to push through. On the other hand, if you view struggles as opportunities to learn and grow, you will find that the process becomes more manageable. A positive mindset doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties or pretending that everything is easy, but it means choosing to focus on the lessons and the growth that come from the struggles. When you approach challenges with a mindset that seeks solutions rather than dwelling on problems, you are more likely to persevere and eventually succeed. The struggle and the process also provide opportunities to build a deeper understanding of who you are. It's easy to get lost in the desire for external success, but the internal transformation that occurs during the struggle is often even more valuable. When things are difficult, you are forced to confront your own limitations, your fears, and your weaknesses. This is where real growth happens, not just in your skills or your achievements, but in your character. The process helps you build resilience, discipline, patience, and a deeper sense of self-awareness. It shows you who you are when you are pushed to your limits and reveals the strength you didn't know you had. Moreover, the struggle teaches you to appreciate the journey. So often we get fixated on the end goal, thinking that once we reach it, everything will be perfect. But once we achieve that goal, we often realize that there will always be another challenge ahead. Success, in many ways, is an ongoing process. It's not a single moment in time, but a series of moments, each one building on the last. By learning to embrace the struggle and the process, you begin to see that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. The lessons, the growth, and the transformation that happen along the way are what truly shape you into the person you need to be to achieve your goals. At the end of the day, it is the struggle that defines us. The easy moments don't shape our character, they don't teach us anything new, and they don't push us to be better. It's the struggles that build resilience, fortitude, and wisdom. When you embrace the struggle and the process, you open yourself up to the possibility of becoming the best version of yourself. It is not the absence of struggle. It is far too easy to get caught up in shouting for attention, creating personal brands, and promoting ourselves at every turn. Yet, in reality, the most lasting and meaningful impact is often made by those whose work stands out, not because they are constantly pushing it forward, but because the quality of what they do is so undeniable that it attracts attention on its own. The concept of letting your work speak for itself goes beyond simply being modest or humble. It's about creating such a level of excellence in what you do that the product, the outcome, or the result of your effort carries weight and importance that others cannot ignore. When you pour your energy into producing something meaningful, something that demonstrates your skill, passion, and dedication, people will naturally take notice. They will see your work, and it will speak volumes without you needing to say a word. One of the primary reasons why your work should speak for itself is because of the authenticity that comes with it. In a world full of overstated claims and superficial displays of achievement, people are often skeptical of self-promotion. Advertisements, social media, and endless marketing campaigns bombard us with inflated promises and exaggerated results. But when people encounter real, authentic work, whether it's a piece of art, a product, a service, or a performance, they recognize it for what it is. There is a purity to work that speaks for itself because it requires no embellishment. It stands on its own merit. Authenticity resonates with people. They can tell when something is genuine, and they are more likely to be drawn to work that is the product of real effort, not just the product of marketing. Moreover, when your work speaks for itself, it demonstrates mastery of your craft. Excellence is a powerful form of communication. When you dedicate yourself to mastering your craft, to refining every detail, and to improving over time, the results will naturally reflect that effort. Mastery cannot be faked. It is something that people recognize because it is often visible in every aspect of your work. Whether it's the quality of the writing, the precision of the design, the depth of knowledge, or the creativity of the idea, the result is a testament to your dedication and expertise. When people see that you have put in the work and developed a high level of skill, they are more likely to respect you and take your work seriously. This doesn't mean that self-promotion or sharing your work is unnecessary. Of course, in today's world, where visibility and recognition are essential, getting your work in front of the right audience is important. But when your work is of such high quality that it speaks for itself, the need for constant self-promotion diminishes. The best kind of attention you can receive is that which comes as a result of the work itself. This means that when your work speaks for itself, you are not relying on external validation or hype to carry your message. The work carries its own weight and earns its place in the world. There's a certain timelessness to work that speaks for itself. In the short term, we may find ourselves caught up in trends or in the need for instant gratification, but great work has a longevity that transcends the moment. When you produce something of true value, it has the power to endure. It can be appreciated by generations to come, long after the noise of today has faded. Whether it's a novel, a song, a scientific breakthrough, or an architectural marvel, work that speaks for itself often endures because of its inherent quality and its ability to resonate with people beyond the context of when it was created. At the same time, when your work speaks for itself, it shifts the focus away from you as an individual and puts it where it belongs, on the impact of what you create. Too often, we are taught to focus on personal branding, to constantly remind people of our achievements, and to build a reputation. While these things can certainly help, there is an inherent value in allowing your work to define you rather than constantly defining yourself. When you focus on the work, when you put your energy into producing something meaningful and of substance, the work becomes the narrative and it becomes the way that people remember you. When you allow your work to speak for itself, it also builds trust. People know that you are not relying on flashy presentations, empty words, or promises that you can't back up. Instead, you are letting the work you do tell its own story. This trust is built over time as people witness your consistency, your ability to deliver, and your commitment to excellence. When people see the quality of what you create, they are more likely to respect you for your skill, your discipline, and your dedication. This respect doesn't come from talking about how great you are or from trying to convince others of your worth. It comes from the consistent demonstration of your abilities and your commitment. People can sense when someone is truly talented, when they have put in the effort, and when they genuinely care about what they do. This respect is far more valuable than any self-promotion or empty accolades because it comes from a place of true recognition of your abilities. Work that speaks for itself also attracts the right kind of attention. In an age where so many are clamoring for recognition, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the noise and to feel pressure to compete for attention. But the beauty of letting your work speak for itself is that it attracts the attention that truly matters. When your work is of the highest quality, it attracts the attention of those who appreciate and value it, not just the superficial, fleeting attention that often comes from quick clicks or temporary trends. The right people will notice the depth, the effort, and the mastery behind what you do. This can lead to meaningful connections, collaborations, and opportunities that align with your values and goals. One of the most powerful aspects of allowing your work to speak for itself is that it frees you from the need for validation. In our society, where so much attention is focused on external approval, likes, shares, comments, and accolades, letting your work speak for itself liberates you from the constant chase for approval. When your work is truly exceptional, it speaks directly to the heart of what people are looking for. It doesn't require embellishment or validation from others because the quality of what you create is enough. This shift in mindset is incredibly freeing. Instead of measuring your worth by external recognition, you begin to measure it by the impact of your work and the satisfaction you find in doing something meaningful. Ultimately, letting your work speak for itself doesn't mean that you never communicate about what you do. It doesn't mean avoiding opportunities to share your work or to talk about your accomplishments. Rather, it means that you should prioritize the quality of what you produce above all else. The work should be so compelling, so well-crafted, and so meaningful that it commands attention naturally. It should reflect your passion, your skill, and your dedication in a way that makes others take notice. When you focus on creating excellent work that speaks for itself, you remove the need for excessive self-promotion and instead let your creations be the message.